Click for IB Biology. We're now looking at the cell cycle from the point of view of the stages of mitosis, getting a little bit into more detail and remembering that the cell cycle, cell division, the function of which can be asexual reproduction or growth in a multicellular organism. There's a blank PDF of this presentation down in the description. You can annotate that with your own notes. There's a quick quiz, 10 questions and answers. There are channel links. There are various AI prompts that you can use in self-assessment, all sorts of additional resources down there for you to take a look at. So this is our diagram for taking an overview of the stages of the cell cycle. So I didn't say mitosis, I said the cell cycle, which is a distinct thing. And let's try and make that distinction clear right now. When you observe a cell down a microscope in the laboratory, the majority of time, what we will see is a cell with an intact nucleus, assuming, of course, we're looking at prokaryotic cells. With a nucleus present, we are actually looking at a cell which is in the interphase. If we were to look down the microscope and catch sight of the actual chromosomes, then we could either be in the prophase, the metaphase, the anaphase, or the telophase, and that would mean that we were actually observing the cell in the process of mitosis. We will detail what the cells look at in these various phases in later videos. But in terms of the whole cell cycle, the interphase itself is set up into 3 sections itself. Initially, here's our whole cell with our nucleus, so we wouldn't be able to observe anything with the nucleus. So G1, the first section of the interphase, is characterized by the cell simply becoming larger. It's growing. We will probably also see a change in the shape of the cell as genes are expressed because the cell is differentiating. And at that point, we know that it's trying to achieve its cell specialization. And the shape of the cell that we see, as we know, implies its function. Unseen, still with the nucleus in place, later in the cell cycle, the cell will begin its preparation for cell division. And this will include DNA replication. If the cell contains a chromosome, and we're going to make 2 cells here, each of these cells has to have a copy of that chromosome. So we need to copy it, and that's called DNA replication. And this is covered in playlist D1.1. The phase in which the DNA replication occurs is called the S phase. And if we look down a microscope hoping to observe it, we will be disappointed because DNA replication happens unseen behind the double wall of the nucleus. With the chromosomes copied into what we call pairs of chromatids, then we move into G2, which is preparation for mitosis. And G2 is characterized by the replication of organelles, including mitochondria, perhaps chloroplasts in a plant cell, and also by making sure that the DNA is has been repaired and that the DNA code is correct. So there's DNA replication processes occur. And then in preparation for those phases of mitosis, the chromosomes begin to condense, a process that we'll look at in a later video in this playlist. So that would be G2, which would then be quickly followed by prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase of mitosis. And then with those stages of mitosis complete and the separation of the chromatids, then we can do cytokinesis that we looked at in the first video of this playlist. How long this takes, the length of the cycle, depends upon the individual cells. Some cells are characteristically have high rates of cell division, such as skin cells, and then other cells have very slow rates of cell division, such as neurons of the brain. Links to the next video are appearing here, and also the opportunity to subscribe to the channel, which is always encouraging should you do such a thing, and the playlist is featured here so that you can continue your study of cell division.